Alright guys, good evening. Welcome to my next U-boat stream. So the last few days I've been doing my other favorite game, streaming game, which is DayZ, and today we are gonna go back to U-boat. As some of you might know, I am doing a complete walkthrough through the whole campaign. But let me start first things first. So U-boat is a World War II submarine simulator where you slip into the role of the captain of a German submarine. And you can really, it's complete open world, very fascinating. You have the whole world, all the oceans of the world to go, and also, do missions. Well, actually, the missions in the game, they are in North Sea, in the Nordic Sea, out in the Atlantic, and to the other side of the Atlantic, and even to the south, here, African coast. So that's pretty amazing, and there is more missions coming in the future, even towards Asia and the Pacific. So, well, back to my game, my playthrough. I actually did start this campaign in the very beginning of the war at September 39 in Wilhelmshaven with a small, tiny Type 2 submarine, which has a very limited range, limited speed, limited armament. So in the beginning it's pretty tough. I think you can also start with the Type 7 right from the scratch, but I pretty much loved that experience to earn your merits first and then at one point get promoted to be captain of a Type 7. By now, my home port is La Rochelle and I am the proud captain of a Type 7C. So you see, a lot of checks. I have successfully done quite a lot of these missions, and finally I got this feature of a milk cow, so I can position supply submarines in the middle of the Atlantic, and this actually makes it possible to wreak havoc upon the North American coast. And here I am at the moment, part of Operation Drumbeat, where my job is to finally sink 200,000 tons. So I already reached the 50,000 level, the 100,000, and now I have to reach the 200,000 tons level. Hey, yippee yup, nice to have you in. Was just not looking at the stream, so I think you're in already a few minutes. Welcome. And let's do some history together. Actually Second World War, and dive into this fascinating technology of a submarine. Hey, Wolf Trouty, nice to have you back in again. Good evening. Hey, great. Of course, it's not a shooter, it's not a arcade game, but I don't know, you do have the possibility to really tune down a lot of difficulty levels, a lot of influences, and I think the explanation is quite alright, so you can pretty well see what the different difficulty settings do, right? But don't hesitate. So if you have any particular questions, I would love to try to help you. So now I don't know if you remember our last stream. We were intruding into this sound and went to this little port of Sydney. We sneakily went in fired a few torpedoes onto 3 ships, sank them all, and now we are moving out again. Only bad thing is that we only got accounted for the sinking of 1. So that actually, now you believe it or not, but it seemed to be a bit buggy in the way that the ships actually did sink completely, but somehow in the shallow water close to the pier, 2 of them were somehow, at least that's what I think. I didn't get them accounted for. We will see it when we are back at home, whether they are on the list or not. Yeah, Boff Trouty, one thing that I had to learn is that you have to get really close. I only fire torpedoes when I am in a range closer than 1 mile. That was something that I didn't do in the beginning. In the beginning I tried to do something on 2 or 3 miles, or, well, no chance. Oh, okay. I mean, are you talking about the these kind of intro missions, the tutorial missions, or are you talking about that the real first missions that you do? I haven't been playing the tutorial missions for, yeah, let me say years, but they used to be buggy, actually. So I would not use the tutorial missions to finally enter into a campaign, but maybe do them separately and then start something new. But yeah, they might have changed a lot about the tutorial missions. Okay, U-boats. I don't actually. Now there is ships around here. Yeah, you can see it's still pretty shallow, and I am trying to get out without getting noticed, but I am back to flying speed, as you see. We are still on blue light, which means we are still on silent running, but yeah, we do make quite a bit of noise with being on cruise speed. We do have contact, we do have sonar contact. Ship propellers, several, so there is some ships out there. Wow, 4 to 9. Maybe we could get there and see if this is a tricky. It might be a task force being called in after my attack, or it might be some merchantman. We can't figure that out at the moment. But let's see. Let's mark them on the map. So we don't know. It's a convoy. Let's call it convoy. Oh, don't know. Call it O1 around here. And delete this marker from last stream. And now let's see what we can do. It's yeah, it's out of sight probably. It's 6 miles. 6 miles is probably not in sight. Yeah, maybe get up the periscope and check if we see something. Yeah, there we get the vision range being marked. Hey, weight loss, good evening. Nice to see you. So, how are you doing? How are you doing? How was your day? Oh, well, the last 2 days, 2 or 3 days, let me say. The first half of the week, actually. Now, there is something. Okay. It's dead ahead. And it's smoke, and actually it doesn't look like several ships. It might be this Corvette. There was a Corvette going out while I was going into the sound. A Corvette was coming out and I successfully evaded it, and this might be even exactly that Corvette. Yeah, the number of ships might be mistaken. Hydrophone said it's more than 4 ships, but I don't think that this is correct. We will see. Okay, you are deep in sailwind at the moment. Okay, you get scurvy in sailwind. That's interesting. But you don't have a crew, have you? You are just a single-handed sailor in sailwind, right? I just went into it very briefly, so don't really know what it's like. I just played it for something like half an hour, and yeah, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just this problem that we all have. There are so many great games, and you can dump so much time into them. So I was a little bit hesitating to open a new bucket to dump time into it. Okay, yeah, interesting. Yeah, I don't know what's the matter. This looks pretty, fuzzy. Looks like the periscope is kind of broken or dirty. The lens. What do you think, this view? Quite unusual. Yeah, did you have that before, this bug? Did you also run into it, or are we just discovering it right now together? Looks like the wet effect is not going away, right? Okay, yeah, I have that the very first time. So I'm curious when it's gonna go away. Now the question really is what we are gonna do. I want to stop silent running for now. How much water do we have in the bilge? Save, reload, yep. We have quite a bit of water in the bilge, although I would not like to turn on the pump right now. Yeah, as long as we are on silent running, the galley is not working, which means that we get a drop in discipline, although discipline is still pretty good. Air quality is high. This is, yeah, we did all the way towards the harbor and out underwater, and at one point we turned on the ventilation. So we had something like 35 filters, absorbers in there, and they are almost all used up. I still have, you see here, spare potassium filters. So let's put them into the ventilation system. But at the moment I would not turn on the ventilation because it makes the hell of a noise. And we would really run the risk that those guys, even though they are 6 miles away, that they would detect us. So as we stopped silent running, the guys are doing maintenance on the torpedoes, which is good. And actually reloading. Yeah, alright. So we have 4 torpedoes left. 4, and yeah, still all 2 torpedoes astern. So we are still nicely equipped for another attack run. Yeah, let's try that. Let's give it a save. Yeah, let's give it a new save, W216. Save. And let's reload and see if that lens bug is fixed. So I'm a bit sorry to show you that there is a bug in the game, because bugs are actually really rare. At least on the PC version, or well, at least I can say it for my system that I have here, I run into very few bugs actually. You can count something like playing for 4 months, only having 1 or 2 bugs now and then. Yeah, so I'm a bit sorry, Boff Trout, that you say that you have some real bug. Have run into a weird bug in the very beginning. So let's see, fingers crossed that the bug is gone. No, not really. Not really. We still have that fuzzy view. Well, it's not a showstopper at the moment. The guy is moving pretty fast. I think that is this single military convoy. Yeah, let's call it convoy because the hydrophone says it's 4 to 9 ships, but I don't think so. I don't think that this is correct. I think it's just the corvette that was moving out. Giving us a position here. We are moving with 7 knots. So half an hour, 7 knots, half an hour would bring us roughly there. And what for them, we can do some nice extrapolation of their course by now. Be something like that.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
And let's go for half an hour.
Schraubengeräusche. Kriegsschiffe, kleine Gruppe. Peilung 150 Grad.
High speed closing in. That's probably a fast attack boat. Question is whether maybe it would be the best idea to just get back to the surface and go flank speed northward away from this theater. Let's give it a save. And let's do that, guys. Let's just get to the surface and then go flank.
5 Meter.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
There we are, going back to the surface. That's fast because we were so shallow. And that's them. Now let's go flank.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
And yeah, please, the captain on the bridge, give me binoculars, please. Okay, we don't have that issue here.
Alarm. Korvette in Sicht. Peilung 20 Grad.
Oh shit. Is she going after us? Is she actually going after us? I can't believe that she spotted us. But she is not too far away. Let's see what we can do. Going flank speed brings us up to 17 knots. That might not be enough to get away from that corvette. Wow, shit. She's much closer than we thought. But yeah, hard to say. Hard to say. Nah, she's not quite that close. Now it's a bit risky what I'm doing here right now. Okay, step away from battle stations. Torpedoes are being loaded. All right. And now we are recovering our air quality. What about the weather? It's pretty wavy. 13 knots and quite a wave standing, I would say.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Maybe they detected us with their radar, but I have no report
Ja?
of a radar contact, passive radar contact. Yeah, it's just the Corvette. That was definitely a wrong reading of the hydrophone guy. I think they're hidden behind this. Yeah. Yeah, I would recommend, if you haven't watched the last stream live, check the video. There was quite some action going on, and we really gave them trouble. There they are. Pretty much looks like they're going after us. I don't like that. Anything astern? Yeah, I'm playing on very high realism level, which includes this shaking and rocking of the waves. So it's pretty hard under these circumstances to get some target in view. It does roll a bit. Look at it. It's just a bit, but it does roll. Very little, yeah. So that's very good for your stomach, because in particular this combination of pitch and roll is what really makes people get sick at sea, I think. At least from my trips on a sailing yacht, I remember that it felt pretty unpleasant when you were on a beam reach course, having the wind from abaft. The ship was rolling and pitching like crazy. And when you are doing a close hauled course close to the wind, you have much action and you take a lot of water, but it doesn't feel that bad actually. Yeah, I remember when we were out in the North Sea at something like, I think it was 7 to 8 before, quite a bit of wind, and we were trying to sail against the wind on a closed hard course, and we were sailing for hours and trying to get our way along the coast, and against the wind there was just no chance. And when the tide actually switched, my uncle said, we have to get back to port. And then we turned around onto a beam reach course with the wind from above, and after we had been sailing for something like 3 or 4 hours, I don't know, and just within 1 hour we were back to port. But that was a ride. Wind coming from above, and then, well, having the swell doing the pitch and the roll. That was, yeah. Actually, once I went below because I had to pee. My uncle actually recommended that I would just pee overboards at the railing, but I went down, and then, well, I really didn't feel well when I went down, and I was glad to be back up. And my uncle looked into my face and just said, "Hey, you've got to take the helm to feel better." And yeah, that's actually the trick. Yes. Yeah, some kind of cross sea. We would say, in German, we would say Kreuzwellen, right? Don't know if cross sea would be the proper term. Okay, hey guys. Maybe they are not going after us. Maybe we are lucky. We are just getting rid of them. By the way, what's the depth here? 20 meters. Still very shallow around here. So if we were spotted, it would be pretty hard to get away, to dive away. Ah, there it is, yeah. Another thingy in the way. Oh, fuck it. That pretty much looks like the guy is on an interception course. And it's really getting close. That's not good. I don't like that. I'm so sure that the guy is chasing us. Look at that. Yeah, you need some patience. You actually have to stay put for quite a while, and sooner or later they would be... Yeah, you can use your hydrophone to actually check whether they are still around. Or what you could also do is to do a little bit of cheating. Press N and do this kind of view. So even if you're down submerged, you can use this view to get some impression on the surrounding, like right now. Hey, it is several ones. Maybe it's... Maybe it looks a bit like it's one corvette and several fast attack crafts. Don't quite know. However, here we are in the endless sea. No, you can't charge the battery when you're down there. if you're just underwater, like something like 8 meters on periscope depth, you can use this snorkel here, which you get later in the game, to turn on your diesel engines while you're submerged. But of course you have to be just below sea level. But when you're down there, you can't recharge your batteries. Yeah, down there, right? You really have a tough stomach when you're down there without any outside view. Yeah, you have to be on the surface, and as soon as you have air supply on the surface, you can run your combustion engine, your diesel. It needs the air from the surface. And if you don't have any contact to the air of the surface, you can't run your diesel. And the diesel is actually the power source that reloads your batteries. For example, right now, if you look at it, my diesels are running, but I'm going flank speed, and when you're going flank speed, all the energy of your diesel is going into speed, and there is nothing left to recharge. So at the moment I'm not recharging because I'm going flank speed. I would have to slow down a bit to get power resources free to recharge the battery. Yes, here you can go stop and charge. This is, if I would choose this one here, that's actually what weight loss is just saying. Then we would stop and would go full throttle anyway without power on the propellers, and then all the energy of the engines would go into charging. Yep, that's it, this one here. If you choose this on the surface, but you can only do it on the surface when the diesels are running. You stop and you have the diesel running, but yeah, exactly like weight loss said. Propeller decoupled. Yeah, that's the problem. And also air quality. My experience is that air quality quickly gets you into trouble when you're submerged for longer periods. Nah, you can't. That's one of the basic constraints. Yeah, that's right. You do have the filters, but when you're trying to sneakily get away from an escort pinging on you, you wouldn't like to turn on the ventilation system, and that's what you have to do. And the ventilation system makes the hell of a noise. And so my new strategy that I only adapted lately is whenever I have an escort passing by right above me and they are masking us with their own propeller noise, then I turn on just anything. Turn on the pumps, turn on the ventilation system, and that helps a lot. Okay, you tried it, yeah. Hey, that's nice. Thanks for using these, my particular thingy symbols there. Yep. It's pretty rare that people actually use them. Pretty much like to see them. Air emotes, that was the name, yeah. Yes. Lol, yeah. Yeah, so many technical terms in some little green fella. Yep. If you have problems with the discipline, you can send your officers to play cards with the crew. Yeah, I mean, I never thought about that. So we have been talking a lot weight loss. We have been talking a lot about your job being a Navy officer, but I never thought about that. And now that you mention it, I remember these old movies about the Second World War and how terrible actually it must have been. A searing hell when a fire breaks out on your ship. Did I mention that book? I pretty much liked it. Herman Vogue, The Cane Mutiny. Wonderful book and full of nice details. And I think I have this detail from that book, which was like that in the Second World War that they had some kind of a fat that they put into their faces to protect them from the heat of fire. Hey, Aqua Icing. Nice to have you in. How are you doing? How was your day? How was your first half of the week? Yeah, the guy with the broom. Don't know. So weight loss, what's the other danger? Drowning? Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, I'm fine. My week was alright. Pretty standard, no surprises. Yeah, the leaks, yeah. Let me think. Did I have any special up to now? No. Well, at my job, we are, like you sometimes have it, we are in this phase where we have to save money at all costs for the next few years. And so we had a lot of stressful meetings and planning in the last weeks, but well, this week was alright. On Friday we had to head in the concepts, how we would handle it for the next few years, and since then management didn't give us any feedback, so the start of the week was pretty relaxed job wise, and I was having quite a few late night DayZ streams, which I pretty much enjoyed. What's that? What is Badum TSS? I don't know, are they closing in on us? I fear they are closing in on us. Yeah. They are on an interception course. They are definitely trying to intercept us. What?
80 Grad.
Yeah. Yeah, we can try to sink it. Let's see if they are really following us. Let's give it a save for now. They are not yet firing. Sooner or later they will start opening fire with their deck guns. And yeah, we wouldn't stand any chance with our little deck guns against theirs. If I only could get them targeted, but hey, look at that. Maybe it's not a corvette, it might even be a grown out destroyer. At least I think it's not this improvised corvette, but the other one. Yeah, let's see that we get as far away from shore as we can on the surface. On the surface we can go 17 to 18 knots, and as soon as we are submerged, maximum is 9 or 10. So let's see that we get as far out as we can before they open fire on us. What's their velocity? I don't know. 50 knots. And their angle on bow on us is something like that, I would guess. And the distance, I don't know. I don't know. They are coming in. For somehow they must have spotted us. Yeah, 1 knot is 1 mile, 1 nautical mile per hour. That's 1 knot. Yeah, the Type 9 is coming finally.
Schnellboot. 80 Grad.
And there is also fast attack boats. It looked like it's this corvette and it is kind of escorted by a group of several fast attack ships. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so this is something like, yeah, if you do some dead reckoning on the map, it's like
Koordinaten setzen.
in 1 hour, if you go, like right now, we are going 16 knots, 17 knots. That means that within 1 hour we would be going 17 nautical miles. Like that. So this would be the distance that we go at the moment. 16 miles per hour. That's okay, yeah, don't know what that is. I only play Total War with that in the Napoleonic age, where you slip into the role of Napoleon, the great emperor. Starting course and conquering whole Europe. Homeward 2. To be honest, it doesn't ring a bell with me. Which one was that? I think I heard it. Homeworld. What kind of game is that? Science fiction, something? Yeah, this is really a race at the moment. We have to get away. We sank 3 ships back in there. We sneakily got towards here into that fjord, towards that port, and sank 3 ships, and now they are of course pretty pissed off and are trying to track us down. And the problem is that we are still in very shallow waters here, but well, at least it's 50 meters by now. And there is obviously this corvette. They are, yeah, they have eyes on us obviously, which is a bit of a surprise on that distance, but it pretty much looks like they are on an interception course on us. So maybe they have me on their radar and I just don't recognize it, or whatever it is. But I would have expected that they wouldn't be able to spot our very small submarine on that distance. Yeah, actually I was hoping back then that this long expected game Starfield, that it would take 3-dimensionality of space into account, but yeah, it was quite some disappointment finally. Okay, yeah, then he hasn't. I have the radar detector manned. And I don't get any beeping or warning. Yeah, smoke on the horizon.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Yeah, if you have additional guys there to help you.
85 Grad. Schnellboot. 80 Grad.
While observing, you have a little bit less trouble with stabilizing your view. Let's give it a save at the moment. Here we are. So, Boff Trouty, do you know about these kind of priorities to set? So, I've gotten the priorities finally from the internet. So on some YouTube videos they are explaining what would be the best kind of numbers you put in here. Then you have this schedule. So I'm going with 3 shifts, and each shift doing 4 hours, like 8 bells of watch cycles one shift, next shift, next shift, which means that each shift has 4 hours of watch and 8 hours of off watch. And related to each shift, I do have 3 watch officers, which are doing these shifts in parallel. For me, it's Mr. Arles, Mr. Grada, and Mr. Trummel. They are my watch officers. The first mechanic, the chief engineer, and the bosun. The captain is not following any watch schedule, and the same for Mr. Schneider. He's just continuously caring for the maintenance of the boat, and now I'm already in the comfortable situation that I can have 2 radio men, so they take turns on 12-hour shifts. That's how I actually do it. So you have the 3 watch groups, and here you can actually address or assign particular sailors to each squad. And if you do this, well, my experience is that things work out pretty nicely. Yes, yes. Yep. Yeah. Like, if we look at the discipline, the fatigue level is to -8. And I think when we come back from that one, we are gonna have to give the crew a shore leave. Yep. By the way, I see quite a few people in the stream, and I like to see that. Just see the numbers going up, so you're completely anonymous, which is fine for me. Just happy to see people watching, but you could make me even more happy if you put some comment into the chat. What you like about the game, what you like about this stream, any recommendations, or, well, just some feedback. Whether you play the game by yourself or just about to, consider whether to get it or not. Or if you're playing the game since, like me, 5 years or something. But as I said, don't feel pushed. It's perfectly fine if you just watch and lurk. Yeah, 12-hour shifts, of course, that's the hell, but in the game they can actually take it, obviously. And it's actually not the officers, but the petty officers. It's the radio guys. Really wonder. I mean, I'm still not sure. It still might be just coincidence, but yeah, in the beginning the guy was going that course, and then he somehow must have spotted me, and now it pretty much looks like he's trying to intercept me. Yeah, the 4 hour shifts, that's some kind of, I've been reading all these books. I mentioned it before, like Horatio Hornblower, and that's Forrester, and the O'Brien series. And back then, in the Age of Sail, the British Navy did this 4 hours watches, and that's why I take it here. Yeah, pretty much like this kind of cycle of 4 hours of watch, 8 hours of off watch. And in case that you really need one of these guys more, you can even have something like 8 hours of watch and 4 hours of off watch, and they would still do it for a while. Pretty far away, the guy. That's us. Okay, no eyes of that. Part of the world. No, Wolf Trouty I never attack at night. Or, well, actually I try to avoid it because at night it's pretty hard to spot your target. So, better do a day attack being submerged and having the periscope up. You are pretty hard to spot for them. Yeah, the 12 hours watch, that's pretty tough. Yeah. yeah, hey, yep. Maybe I should do it like that. Yeah, but both Trouty, that's how I do it. So I'm playing on this pretty high difficulty level where nights are very dark. So if it is not something like a full moon night, moonlight night, I would not do any night attacks. Best time is something like dawn or dusk. But yeah, I prefer to do submerged attacks. And the problem is at night, if you use the periscope swallows a lot of light intensity. All the lenses, they absorb light. So at night it's pretty hard to do a submerged attack, and I never got the knack of doing it on the surface. We all remember that wonderful movie, Das Boot, and there they actually do this surface attack. But yeah. You must be very lucky that there is no escort coming into your way. Yeah, we are that late in the war by now. It's the year of 42, and you can't do surface attacks because there is too much escorts. Only if you might be so lucky to run into one single unescorted merchant, and a surface attack is still proper means. Yeah, completely right, weight loss. Are they turning away? So my gut feeling is that their picture is getting smaller. But
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
yeah, pretty hard to keep it into sight. Maybe I'm lucky. Maybe they're giving it up. Not following us anymore. Yes, for me, actually, I was just mentioning that one. I pretty much loved that book. It's called The Cane Mutiny, and it's by the author named Herman Vogue. And he even got the Pulitzer Prize for that one. It's pretty... Yeah, that book was written not too long after the war. I think it was something like early 60s or something. And yeah, it's a wonderful book which kind of lets you dive into the routine on a little support destroyer in the Second World War. And yeah, what I actually just started to read, but never actually managed to read it, it's the book after which the movie Das Boot was being done. I think the book is also worthwhile to read, but I have to admit I never did. Ah, yeah, there it is. Nice. Yeah. All right. And if you really want to know how terrible war actually is, then read Nothing New on the Western Front. This is really the ultimate book, which, yeah, with that book everything was said about war, I think. But it's tough. It really moved me. Dragged me in pretty much. Yeah, it was written by a guy who actually experienced this, the First World War and survived it, and some years later he wrote down this fictional story about a fictional character, but it's pretty close to his own experiences. Ah, yeah, nice. I actually never watched the movie, because I was so fascinated by the book that I somehow had the feeling that watching the movie would kind of ruin the impressions that I got from the book. But yeah, I think I should watch the movie, yeah.
Schnellboot, 100 Grad.
Yeah, that's... I did translate it wrongly. What did I say? Nothing new on the rest... All quiet on the Western Front, that's it, yep. The One Red Slapper. Yeah, nice to have you in there. Thanks for the comment. Yeah, I love that book. Well, nah, loving is not the right word. It's... Yeah, there's the new movie, which is just something like 2 or 3 years old, and that very old movie, yep. But I never saw both of them. Yeah, the infantry, yep. Yeah, we have. I mean, in general we have, but I don't have a Netflix account. if I watch movies, I usually do it via Amazon. But I would expect that it's also there.
Schnellboot. 105 Grad.
Yeah, and the book is amazing. I mean, this is one of these books which really moves you close to tears at some parts. And yeah, talking about Cane Mutiny, there is also a famous movie about the Cane Mutiny with Humphrey Bogart. And I was very fascinated because in this movie, Humphrey Bogart is not playing the standard role of the womanizer hero guy, but he's playing a weird little kind of a little man who is afraid and who can't make decisions. Hey TARDIS, okay, I know that there is a second part, but there is actually a second part, but still nothing really happening. Yep. Like, hey TARDIS, this pretty much sounds like this humor that you get from Douglas Adams. That could have been a beautiful Douglas Adams quote, what you state there. Hey, that's pretty amazing if you really have this kind of personal connection to a book. Yeah, I always wanted to write a kind of novel about all these experiences that my granddad had in the war. He'd been telling me quite a while. He wasn't that big of a storyteller, but over the years I had pretty close contact to him. He came to our place every day for lunch, and so that was a very close relationship to my granddad. And as I said, he wasn't a kind of a storyteller, but over the years, still he had been placing remarks and little snippets of stories, so that I could pretty much kind of figure out how he was going through the war. That would be a nice project. And I'm still thinking about doing that sooner or later. Yeah, if you remember the last few sentences of the book, it was something like that the protagonist actually got killed. And yeah, then the author says that although the protagonist got killed on that day, the report was that there was nothing new on the Western Front. So, like, we grew very fond of that guy over the whole book, and finally he died, and the whole world just didn't give a fuck. Oh lord, now I used the word and I'm gonna be downrated on my YouTube stream, probably. Yeah, but hey! Ah, shit. I'm really neglecting my audience on YouTube. Sorry, guys. So, Quintongil is again with us. That's so great. In real life, would you rather be on an escorted transport ship than in a U-boat? Yeah, maybe. Maybe you would. Being in a U-boat, that must have been a terrible experience. Yep. It really must have been a terrible experience. Hey, weight loss. That's nice. You're also on the YouTube stream. Yeah, I really should stop. I hope, Quintongil, that you're still there. But I fear that maybe it's quite some time ago that you stayed that command. So I heard you, and pretty good point. Yeah, do that. Thank you very much. The stream is pretty busy, actually. Having something like 10, 11 people on the stream. That's pretty amazing. And maybe if you give the stream a like, it kind of might boost where you get it. Yeah, in the recommendations. So hi guys. You guys on YouTube. Also, you are warmly welcome to the stream, and you're... Hey, hi, Quintongil, I'm so happy that you're still there. I'm sure that I'm not pronouncing your name properly, but I think I didn't back then when you first dropped into the stream. Okay, alright. Alright. Yes. Yeah, that's nice. So now I'm pretty much relieved that I still reached you. So all you guys, the problem is that the YouTube community is much less talkative. And this is why I usually am just looking at my Twitch chat, and I just can't, I didn't yet find out how to merge it, that I can see both at the same time. Okay, alright. So yeah, I think I could also do it in my streaming software somehow. I just probably have to figure out how it works. Yeah, just great to have all of you guys in. I love it. I mean, this is... What I really love about streaming, it's the communication. But no. There they are. I am actually gaining. I am gaining on them. And now it looks like they're maybe either they are heading straight for me at the moment, or they are turning away and giving up the chase. But yeah, look, they are getting larger. I think they have turned their course straight towards me. So sooner or later, I have to see, yeah, shells exploding. Sooner or later, they are gonna open fire on me. Let's give it a new save, W217. Sooner or later, they are gonna start shelling me. And sooner or later, they are gonna start to send their... Okay, no. They're not closer. So maybe I'm getting away with that. And it's pretty deep around here by now. More than 100 meters. So this is actually what I wanted to do. That was my purpose. Getting to the surface to go flank and get to the open sea. Because back there, having just something like 20 meters under the keel, you would really run into trouble if they would start chasing you there. There we are. Maybe we are getting away with that. Yeah, air duty? Do you mean like manning the AA guns? If you have on the open sea, usually you have just one or two airplanes approaching you, but when you really get into trouble, that's when you're close to a port, and sometimes close to a port you might be attacked by something like 5 or 6 or 7 airplanes at the same time, and then you are really in trouble. All the time I do have the feeling that the boat is pretty deep in the water. But the ballast tank, the fore ballast tank is empty. And the stern ballast tank is empty, so that's not an issue. But, okay, we still have a bit of water in the bilge. Let's turn on the pump. Completely forgot about that. Yeah, now we are getting the water out. And this is so wonderful about the game, that you really see things happening. Mr. Schneider is continuously doing the maintenance on the torpedoes. That's good. There they are. They're heading straight for us probably now, which means that we are definitely gaining on them. Yeah, we didn't yet reload the battery because we are going flank speed all the time. So no chance to reload the battery. But at that point I just don't want to step down, slow down. Yeah, particularly now the electricity it's still going down continuously because of the gyro compass. And it was going down now because of I turned on the pump, and the pump is running on electricity actually. Okay, now they seem to be below the horizon. Yeah, above 30. That's so nice about the game, because all these mechanisms are actually heated. So turning on the pump is draining a bit of energy out of your batteries. Looks like they dropped under the horizon. Looks like we are getting away.
Schornsteinrauch, kleine Gruppe. Peilung, 140 Grad. Kurs setzen.
Yeah, let's see that we get a bit away from shore. Yeah, okay, so we just passed 2 o'clock, which means there was change of watch. Now Mr. Grada, our chief engineer, is on watch. I think we are getting away. We are getting away. Yes. Wow. There is quite a swell. It's only 14 knots and we still have quite some enormous swell. Alright, I think we are getting away.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten
Let's
setzen.
delete these markers. That was our last action, the last stream. Don't need it anymore. Give it a save. And go like that. So what's the depth around here? It's 300 to 400 meters. Okay, so now we are in deep sea again. And
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
let's give it a hydrophone check actually.
Tauchen auf.
Let's give it a hydrophone check. Might still be that there are some convoys, some merchant convoys approaching that port. So there the crew is assembling, the off-watch crew is assembling in the front compartment. The valves have been opened. So here we see, or we already have the front and aft and any ballast tank flooded 100%, and down we go.
Schraubengeräusche. Kriegsschiffe, kleine Gruppe. Peilung,
That's so beautiful. I love this graphics. Look at that, you see the water surface up there vanishing now, and down we go. So now the periscope is retracting as it's of no use anymore down here, and now the crew is bringing the boat to
Kriegsschiffe, kleine Gruppe.
50 meters depth, stopping the engines down there for some hydrophone check. And down here the hydrophone has some enormous range. You see it. It's like, yeah, like the whales are communicating underwater over hundreds of miles, they say.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Okay,
Schraubengeräusche.
contacts. Oh, okay, lots of contacts. By the way, let me pause the game here. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Aktuelle Tiefe 45 Meter.
Yeah, give me just one more minute. The time for a snack has come. Yeah, well, maybe. Or maybe not. I'm still struggling. But at least I'm gonna get me a glass of rum. And maybe with a snack. Let's see. Be back in a minute. Alright, here I am. So, no snack at the moment.
50 Meter.
I am being straight on that so far. Yeah, but I just got me a little glass of rum.
Herr Kalon,
So, let's mark these positions just roughly.
ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Just roughly. But I think all of these guys are military. Probably no point in actually going there.
Tor 5 gewartet.
At the moment we should just get away.
Befahrt voraus. Anblasen.
Yeah, let's get back to the surface and keep on going. Hey, isn't this beautiful? This kind of... Yeah, you really have this impression of the U-boat, of the submarine being floating. Of course, I think in real life you would have much less visibility. You would not, down here at 50 meters, it would already be probably much darker and you wouldn't see much, but I quite like how they implement that. And here we are getting back to the surface. Whoosh. Yeah, maybe at that point let's go to halbe Fahrt, cruise speed. So right now we are starting to recharge our batteries. because we are not going flank speed anymore. There is some power left to put it onto the generators. By the way, cheers, guys. It's a pleasure to have all of you in the stream. And yeah, that's great. So we even had a little bit of a chat going on YouTube, which is pretty rare. Yeah, I'm having what's the name? I have the bottle upstairs. It's come on. I have to Google it. Give me just a second. Yeah, I'm not that much of an expert in terms of rum, so it's one of these supermarket rums, but hey, what's the name? Havana Club. Yeah, that's it. It's Havana Club rum. So maybe if in the audience there is some rum expert, you would maybe say, oh, well, it's just a supermarket rum whatsoever, but yeah, let me rest you assured, I'm not an expert on that one. But I like this one. The one that I have here, it's haven't been in the oak cask for a while, so it's not clear, but it's a little bit dark, and I quite like the flavor. Yeah, it is, isn't it? I think it's pretty alright. There is quite some wave going on. We just have 14 knots, but there is quite a swell. And I love that. I love it, how they actually do this graphical implementation. Yeah, let's give it a save and do a little bit of time acceleration. Six o'clock, change of watch. Mr. Terminal, please man the navigation table. And there we are. Going into the night now, sooner or later. Yeah, okay, sounds good. Never heard of that one, I have to admit. So, cheers. Enjoy it. Now, 10 o'clock. By the way, let me mention this. Now it's 10 o'clock. And we are heading westward, and the sun's still pretty far up. And the reason for that is that our time is not the local time, but it is the Yeah, I'm not sure it's either Berlin or Greenwich time. At least it's European time that we have on our chronometer, which means that sun sets pretty late in the evening and rises pretty late in the morning. That's the time difference. So you guys from the US, like yup, I think we figured out yesterday that we have some kind of 7 or 8 hours of time difference. And I think this one here is a little bit less, should be something like 6 hours, I guess, out here offshore of Northern America. Okay, Buff Trouty, yeah, so you're from the UK, so we don't have much of a time difference, but I know that Yippee Up, he is from the US, and yeah, we figured out that we had, I think, something like 8 hours. Yeah, I always love to have you guys from the UK in the stream.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
Yeah, pretty happy that you can stand my German accent. But for this game, my German accent might be pretty suitable, right? I guess. Playing a German U-boat commander. Now let's check the storage. Yeah, we still have 3 different types of food. That's fine. Let's get here to 30. What about the bread? Yeah, just as well. Here we are, but we don't have any bacon left, any pork. Let's see how we're gonna continue over the travel, but we still have plenty of food. Yeah, aqua icing, completely right. Unacceptable to run out of bacon and only be running on cheese, bread, and vegetable. But it pretty much looks like we're not getting back home with bacon. Yep. Yeah, we are gonna go to the milk cow soon, and there, hopefully, well, we have to be lucky to get bacon there. Hey, Zappos Ranchik, hope I pronounce it not too wrong. Great to have you in from Belarus. Hi, and yeah, that's great. That's actually what I mean when I say I'm happy if people would just drop a note in the chat and like say where you're from. That's wonderful. Great to have you in. Yeah, right? I would guess that we would have something like an hour or maybe 2 of time difference to Belarus. Around here now it's 10 minutes to 2 in the morning. And I would guess that, yeah, I don't know, 2 hours or 1 hour of time difference to Belarus. What time do you have, Zoppo? Ah, okay. Yeah, okay. It's 2 hours actually. Amazing. Pretty amazing. Yeah, I mean, somebody could say, well, it's just what you would expect, but for me personally, it's always amazing to have a chat with guys over so many different time zones. Yeah, we get it. It's the internet. But still, it's amazing. And that's what I like so much about streaming.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
I think
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
gonna do another hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
Okay, pretty foggy by now. See, it's 12 o'clock and there is still daylight. Alright, the off-watch crew has assembled in the front compartment. Mr. Grade has just opened the valves and now, yeah, the ballast tanks are already filled and down we go. We still have some remaining light,
E-Motoren wechseln.
even though it is just midnight. And yeah, there you see that we have this effect, not having the local time but having Greenwich time or Berlin time.
50 Meter.
Anybody knows exactly what the game does, whether it's giving us Greenwich time or Berlin time?
Meter.
So now I ordered hydrophone check. Yeah, you can. Actually, this is the death that you die. Like when you attack an enemy convoy and afterwards are being depth charged by the escort, that's actually what happens. So they drop depth charges on you, they are damaging your hull, you have water getting in, you have the water level rising and people start to drown. That's exactly what happens.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet. 50 Meter.
Yeah, but it's not multiplayer weight loss, right? So if it were multiplayer, that would be a wonderful experiment to do.
Meter.
So do we get any contact? We still have 4 torpedoes in the 4 tubes. So we have quite some equipment for another run onto a convoy. Would be so great if we ran into one.
Kurs setzen.
So let's check again for the Operation Drumbeat. It's BABB. BB, but not BC anymore. So this one here. All these squares are actually scoring. If I sink a ship here, it will score for my Operation Drumbeat mission goal. Are you talking about in-game or out of game in real life? Because in-game, I think it will be a while since I'm going back to Wilhelmshaven.
Natürlich, Herr Kaloi.
Lenz, Pumpe einschalten.
Come on, turn on the pump. Yes, in-game, of course, yep. Yeah, okay, now I get your point. So, if we look at the map, Wilhelmshaven, yep, good point. Now I see it. Here, this is Wilhelmshaven, and then there is somewhere here, must be Berlin. And so we could actually figure out by that whether it's Berlin time or Greenwich time. Yeah, now I get the point. Yeah, or La Rochelle. Yeah, you're right. Just didn't get it right away, but yep. So also from La Rochelle. If it would be Greenwich time, there should be really no time difference. And if it would be Berlin time, it should be 1 or 2 hours. Yep. Yeah, good point that you made. I think we could do that experiment when I'm back home. Yep.
Anblasen.
Ja?
All right. So no contact. Yeah, it is. It is in mathematically it is, but
Aktuelle Tiefe?
if you really look at the sun, it must make a difference. It must make a difference whether your time is Greenwich time, like that. Then you really have the sunset when you would expect it, or if it's Berlin time, back here. In principle, it's the same time zone, but you should still have something like a different time of sunset there. This, I thought that was your idea, to actually measure that, to find out whether we are going Greenwich time or Berlin time. Yep. Hey, Aqurising, did you? So, what is the frozen north from your point of view? Yeah, my family actually forced me to do some holidays, several holidays in southern France. And for me, it was just too warm. I prefer holidays in, the north. Yep. The Arctic mission, yep. Yep, this one. Yeah, okay, sooner or later. How long are we gonna have that one? There's no date given. Yeah, at the moment I feel well here at the northern American coast. it's foggy and the sun is setting.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet. Torpedorohr 2
Now
gewartet.
give it a save.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Herr Kaloy, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Yeah, it's still so foggy.
Navigation besetzen.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Yep. If we would sail, yeah, weight loss, right. If we would sail exactly onto the Greenwich Meridian, which would be here, maybe we would like to do it in the channel because it's just too overpopulated by enemies, but going here to the North Sea somewhere and check the sunset. Here, that's London, so that's Greenwich. Put ourselves here and see when the sunset goes. Good point. Yep. That's great. So that could be one of our next missions. Yeah, giving you a little bit of an error, but around here it's pretty close to Greenwich time. Yeah, you're right. And there we are, speeding through the night.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Let's go for another 2 hours. And then we are going to do another hydrophone check.
Tauchen auf.
You
10 Meter.
never know. This is actually what you have to do. You are scanning this enormously large Atlantic for enemy ships, so use the hydrophone. There they are, flooding the ballast tanks. 40, 50, 60%, 70, 80, 90. There we are. And down we go.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter. Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I see the number of watches going up on Twitch as well as on YouTube. And yeah, perfectly fine. I just see the numbers. I don't see your names. You're completely anonymous, but still, let me just mention that you could make a little streamer a little bit more happy if you would just give me a comment in the chat, or maybe even give me a follow or give me a like. Whatever
5 Meter.
would be great, but yeah, as I said, don't feel pushed, don't see your name, and just having a few people watching my little stream here, my amateur stream, is perfectly fine and reward enough. Nice to have you.
10 Meter.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet.
Yeah, we're just about to do a hydrophone check. And down there at 50 meters under the sea level, if the weather is not too bad, we get an enormous range of detection of just any propeller moving in the range of more than 90 miles. Yeah. Hey, there is a contact. There is a contact. And one unit pretty far away, closing in. All right. Nice. Maybe that's an opportunity. Single O whatsoever. Let's call it O1. There they are.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I would be very curious to get some information, like a list of all the mods that you are actually using.
Anblasen. Auf Motoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Yeah, there we are, back to the surface. Time is, yeah, roughly lunchtime. Yeah, that would be nice, yeah. That would be very nice. It's so foggy still. And let's get right for that contact. No. Let's go for 1 hour and see where they are. Let's just guess. It is probably just a merchantman, and if it's a merchantman, it's just going with the 8 knots. So after 1 hour, the guy must be on this circle. And yeah, hydrophone was telling us that this guy is even moving towards us. So maybe we have quite some good chance that he is somewhere there. Now, time acceleration. 1 hour. It was 12:15. Okay, I was going a bit slow, by the way. Let's do another hydrophone check.
10 Meter.
And see if we get a contact again.
Auf maximale sichere Tiefe gehen. Tauchen auf 10 Meter. Tauchen auf 10 Meter.
Hey, isn't that amazing? We are in the middle of the ocean and it's so shallow around here. That's pretty amazing. It's just 20 to 50 meters around here. Hey guys! So many people dropping in. Nice. Don't worry, I just see the number of watches going up. You're completely anonymous, so perfectly fine if you just lurk and watch. But nevertheless, let me mention that I love to get in contact with all the different people all over the world and the different time zones. So don't hesitate to put some comment in the chat. How you are, who you are, what your experience with the game is, whatsoever, if you like my stream or not. Don't hesitate to give me also critical feedback. Yeah, it's late. Yep. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, nevertheless, that was great to have you in, and thanks for joining the chat and giving us your valuable comments in the chat. It was a pleasure. You're relatively new in the stream. I think you just joined something like last weekend, right? Yeah, great. Great to have you.
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
So, do we get any signal? We should. We should. There is this guy dead ahead. Why don't we get anything from him?
Handelsschiff. Peilung 50 Grad.
Alright, they're there. So this gives us a good imagination. They're going fast. They are very fast. So that would mean they are moving with something like
Kurs auf diese
13
Koordinaten setzen.
knots.
Anblasen. Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloi, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
So let's see if we can go 70 knots. Like that. 1 hour. Oh wow, look at that weather. You wouldn't spot just anything.
Tauchen auf.
Yeah, let's do another hydrophone check.
Aktuelle Tiefe
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Alarm! Handelsschiff in Sicht.
Aufgefechtsstationen.
Peilung
Anlauf
265 Grad.
Okay. Do we have? Is it that close?
25 Meter.
Yeah, so it would be there. Alright, that makes perfect sense. But we don't need you guys on alarm.
Herr Kaloi?
And there they are. Half an hour. Hey, it's going fast. It's really going fast. I went for half an hour,
30 Meter.
and in half an hour they were going 9 knots. That's tough. That's tough to get that guy. But time of the day, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but we do have very bad visibility. So At that point, allow me to be AFK just for 1 minute again. Alright, here we are, back again.
Wetter neu. Aktuelle Tiefe 30 Meter.
That guy seems to be going pretty fast. Yeah, let's see. Let's still see if we can intercept that guy. We have such a bad weather up there. Might be hard to spot him.
Anblasen.
There we go, back to the surface. Ah, such a bad visibility. Such a bad visibility. Let's go flank. Could be something like that. But the guy is really going fast. I think I'm gonna have a hard time to intercept him. What about the maintenance status of our torpedoes? Yeah, right. Number 4 might get some maintenance. It is actually under maintenance right now. So this does work. Long. You see Mr. Schneider taking care of the maintenance of torpedo number 4. Now it was 3 o'clock. Quarter past 3. And yeah, let's give it another hydrophone check. Right now we should be quite in the vicinity, but you don't see anything. We have minimum vision range. So, yeah, let's use the hydrophone. That's the only means that helps us detecting this guy. In Germany we would call it Waschküche, laundry. And there we go. Again, on 50 meters, hydrophone check.
Meter.
Classic Wilhelmshaven Sheetwetter, yep.
40 Meter.
Yeah, Sheetwetter. Isn't that a wonderful German term for shite weather, shitty weather? That's Sheetwetter.
Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter.
I hope I don't get banned on YouTube because I said Sheetwetter. Using strong language.
45 Meter. Schraubengeräusch. Handelsschiff. Peilung 245 Grad.
Now we have a contact.
Aktuelle Tiefe 50 Meter.
Okay, yes, there it is. That was how long? Half an hour? Roughly.
45 Meter.
And what's the distance? Just 6, yeah, it's 6 miles. It's still 6 miles.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet.
There we are, back to the surface. Yeah, you need to do some time acceleration now and then. So how fast are they going? Really hard to judge. That was something like 3 miles. I don't know.
Kurs setzen.
If we go like that for 15 minutes. Moving with 70 knots.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Tauchen auf 50 Meter.
One more hydrophone check. We must be pretty close to the guy by now. The sea is pretty flat, so okay. We have 20 knots of wind speed, and the sea is like that. Yeah, well, but size of the waves not always necessarily correlates to the wind speed. By the way, all you guys in the chat, in the stream, it's a pleasure to have you in. Well, I just see the number of watches going up. You're perfectly anonymous, so don't worry. And it's perfectly fine if you just lurk. But let me say anyway that you could make a little streamer like me even more happy if you would put some comment into the chat. Tell me where you're from, tell me if you're playing the game by yourself, what your experience is, what you think about the stream. Yeah, just any kind of thing like that. And even maybe consider to give me a follow. That would be so nice. Thanks, guys.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Okay, the torpedoes are maintained.
45 Meter.
Water in the bilge is just moderate. Just a little bit of water is dripping in always.
Handelsschiff. 250 Grad. Herr Kapitän?
Hey, come on. Now it's really slow. Now it's really slow. That's weird. So 15 minutes, 3 miles. Nah, okay, maybe not that slow. I think the guy is maybe moving with something like 12 knots, 12 to 15 knots. So,
Handelsschiff. 255 Grad. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloy?
yeah, there he is, of course.
Anblasen. Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloy, wir sind aufgetaucht. Natürlich, Herr Kaloy.
"15 minutes. What about us going 15 minutes like that? Would bring us there. So we should be getting onto a nice interception course for the guy.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
They should be in visibility by now. Hey, weather is improved. Oh yeah, there he is. And the fog has lifted. The rain has stopped. So we are really having a nice view by now. So, Captain, would you please do some observation of the guy.
Schornsteinrauch, Peilung, 305 Grad.
There he is.
Handelsschiff, 305 Grad.
Okay, I think this ship is armed, isn't it? It's this one. It's the Liberty class. Let's give it a save, and I think now we should go diving. On periscope depth. Let's get down before they spot us. I think we're still far enough away so that they wouldn't spot us.
Herr Kanoy, wir sind auf Seebord.
Yeah, the Liberty class is armed, isn't it?
E-Motoren wechseln. Kurs setzen.
Bestätige.
It's zigzagging, pretty sure. So they are gonna change course sooner or later. Most probably the guy is zigzagging. Hey, that's so great. 16 people in the stream. Yeah. You might be surprised to see me so enthusiastic about that, but yeah, just a very small aficionado streamer. And having 16 people in, that's just great, guys. So, perfect. Just watch if you like to watch, just lurk if you want to lurk, but yeah, rest assured that you could make a little streamer like me even more happy if you would put some comment into the chat. Give me a hi, tell me what you know about the game. Are you playing it by yourself, or are you just watching the stream, or well, are you an old salt having years of experience, or if you are looking for hints and tips to handle the game. Oh, where you come from, I'm always curious about that. Me, for myself, I am from Germany, as you might have guessed by my accent, and I'm living in the Frankfurt area in middle western Germany, and I'm so fascinated by the concept to use Twitch, to use the stream, to communicate to people from Great Britain, and even from the US and Canada, and I also had team-ups in other games with people from Australia, and this is something that I find totally fascinating. Right now we got some kind of a weird sound effect. in the game. Okay, yeah, weight loss. You're still playing. Thingy. What's the name? I actually have it installed. Sailwind, yeah, that was the name. I have it installed and played it a bit. Yeah, but yeah, as I said, I think it's a lovely game, but it's about, yeah, you have to figure out, yeah, you have to really have to prioritize which games you want to put time into and which not. And at the moment, I do have something like 2 or 3 games where I really put time into, and it's just hard to say, okay, I take another one and dive into it. And I think Sailwind is also a game you really have to dive into a little bit. It's nothing that you just do for 2 hours and then let it rest and do it 2 hours again 2 weeks later. You have to put a little bit of time into it, I guess. By the way, what about our periscope? Okay, it looks better, does it? It's definitely a Liberty. What's the velocity of a Liberty? Something like 12? Yes, something to shoot at, exactly. And I'm pretty sure that it is a US ship.
Kurs setzen.
By the way, battery level is still alright, only 95%. Air quality is fine. So everything seems to be alright for now. Antler bow, let's give it a guess for now. Something like that. Being a wild guess. Can we also kind of, yeah, do some guess about the distance? The sea is pretty flat by now. Very nice weather. Distance being, yeah, 2 miles.
Aktualisieren. Entfernung zum Ziel. 3, 7, 2.
Pretty close, actually.
Gegnerlage 4, 2, rechts. Gegnerfahrt 1, 2, Knoten.
I would guess that this is their rough course. Are we going flank speed? Yes, we are. Mr. Schneider. 4, tube 4 as well.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yeah, it might still take a while. We are not on the final approach.
Kurs setzen.
They're changing course, aren't they?
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
So we are closing in on that guy pretty shallow. Distance with a steady meter. Yeah, clearly less than 2 miles. Let's see if we get into a nice firing position. It's British, by the way. So it's not neutral, it's an enemy. We can sink it.
Torpedo rollt ein.
Ah, so sorry guys, I'm looking at... I'm so torn apart. In principle it's getting late, I should go to bed, but having so many people watching the stream, I really feel obliged to finish this kind of action here. Ah, come on, let's carry on. Let's carry on.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
The guy is coming in.
Alle Maschinen stopp.
Okay, maintenance status of the torpedoes. It's alright. Yeah, it definitely is a Liberty, yeah, 100% sure. I have to give it a guess about the angle on bow. Alright, it's less than a mile by now. They always look a bit like they're listing. passing by.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Winkel 8, 8, rechts. Entfernung 1, 4,
Jetzt.
9, 6 Meter. Rohr 1 bewässern. Rohr 1 bewässert. Los! Rohr 2 bewässern.
Rohr 2 bewässert.
Los! Rohr 3 bewässern.
Rohr 3 bewässert.
Los! Ja.
Alright, there we got him. What about the other torpedoes? Don't think that this is the only hit we get.
Treffer.
Yeah,
Schwere Schäden.
heavy damages. And I guess the other one should also be a hit.
Ja. Der Torpedo ist auf halbem Weg.
Is it? Okay, now that one was a miss. But that's fine. We got them hit twice.
Sekunden bis Torpedo einschlagen.
Yeah, come on. They should be going down with that.
30 Sekunden.
Yeah, that was a nice approach. Although it was a little bit hand waving.
20 Sekunden.
It was a little bit hand waving, but I think we did it pretty nicely. Firing 3 torpedoes, having 2 hits, and there we see the guy sinking over the bows. The crew is not yet leaving. Propeller still running. Hey guys. That was 2 hits. One was a heavy hit. The other one I'm not sure.
Kurs setzen. Halbe Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, it's gonna sink, is it?
Die Besatzung evakuiert das Schiff.
Okay, they are evacuating. And the propeller stopped. Nice. Good to see.
Kleine Fahrt voraus. Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
They are going down. Very nice. We got them.
Sie gehen unter.
Wait. That was the first time that I ever saw a ship breaking apart like that. Down they go. So,
Anblasen.
yeah, get to the surface.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5 Meter.
That was the very first time that I saw this, that the hull was actually breaking apart. Amazing.
Funkraum besetzen. Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Yeah, let's send the messages and let's stop the engines. And by the way, allow me to be briefly AFK. Yeah, that's a nice finish for the stream, that we finally got that guy sunk. If we look at the overall campaign, nice. So we are almost half through already to the 200,000 tons. Still, let's just hope that this torpedo is not making us any trouble. He might turn around and hit us, but it's pretty far out. I don't see anything. Yeah, that's always a bit of a risk. These kind of... Yeah, that's one of these torpedoes which are gonna do a meandering pattern. So if you are really unlucky, it might be that you get hit by them by yourself. That's safe. And let's check the interactions. It's the... Hey, what about the wreckage? Lifeboat 1. I already have a full complement of people on board. So many lifeboats, so... Send a diver, no I won't. No. Give them supplies. I do have a bit of supplies. Let's share them. This will give me quite some plus of reputation. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And lifeboat number 5. Number 6. And there we are. I think that's all right. So we have debris. Ah, there's pork. Let's get the pork on board. That was what we were missing. So there we are.
Ja.
Just one. Come on, all this effort for just getting one piece of preserved pork. Yeah, that sound is the compressors. They are working to get the compressed air back to 100%. Looks like we are already almost back to 100%. Somebody has to turn it off again. They will. You don't have to do that micromanagement. And get the pork to the storage. And what about the dried fish? Get the dried fish on board just as well. Okay, this is 4 dried fish at least.
Als ich ein Jugendlicher war, habe ich eine Klassenfahrt nach Berlin gemacht. Wir haben alle historischen Sehenswürdigkeiten besucht. Es war ein Reichstag. Es war eine faszinierende.
Herr Kaloin,
Okay, there is the fish. Get the fish into the galley, into the storage. And then we are fine. Now it's time to get to the
Koordinaten setzen.
restorage area.
Halbe Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, that's the area we have positioned where we have positioned the milk cow. There we can get new fuel and new torpedoes. Alright guys, that was a good success finally. Having sunk that Liberty freighter, and I have to look at the time. It's 10 past 3 o'clock in the morning around here. Pretty late. So guys, it was a pleasure to have all of you in the stream. It was pretty crowded actually. We had something like 16, 17, 18 people in the stream. That's pretty much for me. Just being a tiny, small streamer. So, yeah, it was a pleasure to have you. Weight loss, aqua icing. It was great. Both Trouty, if you're still there. I think you are, aren't you? Have a good night. That was great. And Yap, if you are still there, also for you, have a good night or have a good evening. Probably I better should say for you guys from the US or Canada. Yeah, was a pleasure. Gonna repeat that tomorrow. Yeah, let's continue tomorrow. Doing a bit more of U-boat. Let's do a save. And let's just briefly check whether it's worthwhile to do some raid. Ah, come on. No raid tonight. I mean, the last raids were a little bit of not so successful. So, particularly that one DayZ raid. So, yeah. Have a good night, guys. And